Welcome back to Docket 360. I am your host, D, and today I present you with The Devil Within, the Guyra Haunting. Enjoy. The case of the Guyra Ghost, or rather Poltergeist, began in April 1921 with tremendous thumpings on the walls, followed by showers of stones which eventually broke every window in a tiny weatherboard cottage just outside Guyra, Australia. Nobody could see who or what was creating the mayhem, but it was soon noticed the attack seemed to be focused on a 12-year-old Minnie. Stones smashed through her bedroom window and fell on her bed. Apparently, one of the Bowen children confessed to tossing some rocks on the roof to scare a younger sibling, but this didn't seem to account for the extent of the phenomenon, especially as these things kept happening even when the place was surrounded by the police. Local residents, many of whom had observed the phenomenon at the Bowen's home, became quite jittery. Some took to sleeping with loaded guns at hand, and one young girl was wounded in the head and several other people narrowly escaped being shot. The local police sergeant, who sat up night after night at the college, amid the interminable thumps and showers of stones, broke under the strain and was sent away for rest. Alarmed at the dangerous situation that was developing, the state government sent a team of detectives from Sydney. They maintained a constant surveillance of the stressed but cooperative Bowen family, interrogated a large number of Guyra residents, and organized teams of up to 80 armed volunteers. But despite a double cordon around the house, the mighty thumping continued, sufficient to shake the cottage to its foundations and audible to watchers 100 yards from the house. To those outside, the thumping appeared to come from within. To those inside, it seemed to come from the outside. At its peak, the Guyra Ghost created international interest. One of the people drawn to the remote township by the mystery was a certain Mr. Moores, a personal friend of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, who shared his interest in psychic phenomena. Given full access to the house, he removed portions of the roof to create lookout posts and set an elaborate system of traps. Completely unimpressed, the ghost continued its maddening mayhem. Moores and his 5 assistants were completely flummoxed. They couldn't even say for sure whether the walnut-sized stones were thrown from outside or inside the home. But where the foreign expert failed, a local ghostbuster may have partially succeeded. When Ben Davy of Urala, a student of spiritualism and theosophy, visited the Bowen household, he learned that May, a daughter of Miss Bowen's by a former marriage, had died about 3 months earlier. As he told the Sunday Times later, he immediately suspected the spirit of the dead girl was trying to communicate with young Minnie. After a spate of knockings, a tearful Minnie confessed that May had spoken to her, saying, "Tell Mother not to worry. I'll watch and guard over you." Then all poltergeist activity ceased, at least for a while, when to despair of all, the thumpings and stonefalls recommenced. Minnie's parents, in desperation, sent her to her grandmother's house in Glen Innes, 60 kilometers away. Proof that she really had been the focus of the poltergeist's attention was soon provided, because it followed her there. The second house was situated in town, but the wall-shaking thumps were as difficult to explain as ever. Some thumps were heavy enough to dislodge ornaments on the sideboard. When a 200-pound man threw his full weight against the wall next to the sideboard, the ornaments did not even shake. After a time, Minnie's parents brought her back home to Guyra Cottage. Thereafter, it seems, the strange phenomena simply faded away. Nowadays, it's hard to find any resident of Guyra who knows much about the story that pushed the little town into the limelight so many years ago. The 2 houses involved in the mystery still stand, although the Bowen residence has been enlarged and renovated. The current occupants, though a little nervous when they moved in, have never heard a peep out of the ghost. 12-year-old Minnie appears to have been a typical poltergeist medium, the kind of troubled adolescent who very often seems to be the focus and possibly the unconscious instigator of some poltergeist attacks. A Sunday Times journalist considered her a rather odd little girl. Minnie is tall, thin, and dark, with peculiar dark, introspective eyes that never seem to miss any movement in a room. When she speaks to you, she never smiles. She seems to look beyond or through you. She has a rather uncanny aptitude for anticipating questions, almost before they are asked, he stated. Minnie Brown grew up married and as Miss Inks lived for many years, apparently normal, in Armandale. If she knew more about the Guyra Ghost, there's no record of her telling anyone about it later in life. In about 1988 or 89, the elderly, slow-moving lady was run over and killed just outside of Armandale, and nobody knows what secrets she took to her grave with her. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and subscribe, and don't forget to share it with your friends. If you have suggestions or ideas for the channel, please send them over to docket360@gmail.com. Until next time, have a great night.